I said Cody lies a lot.
When do I lie? In what way am I lying?
Just your whole catharsis.
You said you would be 3 minutes late.
Yeah, 3 minutes late. It's now.
I'm sitting in my room. My beer's damn old warm. I got a 40.
Oh, shit.
It's going to be hot by the time this is over.
You have a 40 ounce, you fucking thug?
Dude, I got a 40. It's a tough day. It's a tough podcast episode.
Yes.
Okay, Jake, you piece of shit. Dude, I hate you so much. I hop on to somebody who's supposed to be one of my best friends saying, Cody lies. That's the only thing I've heard.
I mean, I'm not hiding it from you. I'll say it to your fucking face.
Yeah, well, I don't lie. Am I late? Yes. Do I lie? No. I've been in this room for half an hour trying to get this shit to work.
All right. Well, people who listen to this episode who know Cody, I want you to comment in the comment section if Cody Cannon lies when we post this episode.
I mean, everyone lies, but that being said, this was truly, it was not my fault. I've been in here. My beers, you look at all that condensation on the side of my 40. That's from sitting in this hot ass room while I'm trying to figure out tech stuff.
Cody's coming in hot today. I like it.
Yeah, Cody. Got very Tony Soprano energy today.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm feeling aggressive.
Ooh, I like it. Speaking of aggression, dude, I picked up some sweet comics, Punisher versus Batman.
How was it?
I haven't read it yet.
Is it just a single issue?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just like one book, but it's by Romita. And then
Nice.
Yeah, Klaus Janson. And then I got this. I haven't even opened it, but it looked cool. But it looks like it's just a Colossus comic.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a sick cover.
Yeah,
dude, I love Colossus.
And then the creme de la
Yeah, he's one of my
creme,
favorite X-Men, honestly.
the new Blacksad.
Nice.
Ooh. That's volume 4?
Yeah, this is volume 4, but it's part 1 of volume 4. It's Blacksad, They All Fall Down.
Oh, shit. The last one we did was just a little, couple vignettes. This one is a big old 2-parter. I like that.
Yeah, it's a 2-parter. The back says it takes place in New York City. He's taking on the mafia, construction, and of course, Broadway.
Of course.
Nice. Yeah, Blacksad would take on Broadway.
Yeah, right? He's definitely going to fuck some Broadway stars,
Yeah.
John Blacksad gets his dick wet.
Oh, yeah.
We know this.
We know this to be true.
Dude is slanging dong,
What do you think would happen if Blacksad ran into Tony Soprano on a case? You think he'd let him go?
Oh, no. You kidding? Blacksad would die trying to bring Tony Soprano.
I concur.
Stumbled on the biggest case of his career.
But who do you think would win? Do you think Tony would beat Detective Blacksad or what?
Just because Tony has the entire squad on his side and Blacksad just has that little fucking yesterday or whatever.
Weekly.
Weekly, that's
You
it.
said yesterday.
Weekly, that's it.
Weekly. Yesterday.
Weekly.
Yeah, his little buddy tomorrow or something. That's true, but he's a cat, so he has 9 lives.
Ah, true.
Yeah.
He's
And also
very-
Italians, very superstitious.
Ooh, very superstitious
Very
towards cats.
yeah. Could not say superstitious.
Yeah.
It's even talking about cats and then seeing Cody's cat ears. I'm having a flashback.
Oh shit, dude. channeling that hard Christopher energy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why would you
Old
do this
Christy.
to us?
Wow, dude, that's a good scene. Well, shit, let's get into it. This episode is not the most fun of episodes to watch. It's by no means a feel-good episode.
Not at all.
I like how this entire podcast, each episode has been kind of like not the heavier episodes in the season. They've all been important, but there's been a lot of non-Tony centric episodes, and this one is a very heavy episode. This is like one of the this is the most serious episode we've covered so far.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. I agree. I think they've started off lighthearted from season 1 to now because most of them have been pretty comedic. This one, like, there's some funny moments, but it's not like a funny
it's
episode.
dark.
It's not funny at all, honestly.
And Tony at this point is like he's completely different from last season. I mean, he's down a darker path in this season, I feel like.
You think so? I don't know.
I mean, I'm going, and so the reason I say that is from the scene where he goes to visit Valentina in the hospital after she was burned.
I think it just shows that he truly is like a cold sociopathic motherfucker.
That's
he
what I
doesn't give
mean.
a fuck.
Exactly. But so last episode, we talked about Everybody Hurts and how Tony was responding to suicide.
True.
Right?
And she
In
says,
this
I'll fucking
episode-
kill myself.
And he says, I got to take this.
He's like, yeah, I got it.
So darkly funny, right? But like, you know what I mean? Like, Tony is cold, but that's really cold. Out of all the episodes we've watched so far, that's like a completely different Tony. That's not Joe Fixit. That's fucking.
Well,
that's anger.
That's anger. And so is this. Welcome to Comics and Chronic. This is Sopranos Summer. You already know. You've been keeping up with us, which I hope you have. I'm Jacob H. I'm joined by the skinny guinea himself, Anthony Iannaccio. And of course, Cody Walaka Cannon. We are doing season 5, episode 11.
Cody Walnaka Cannon.
I don't know what you're implying with that.
Like walnuts.
Like walnuts.
Oh.
You got offended.
What do you mean?
Why did you get so triggered by that, Cody?
I just didn't understand what you were trying to say. I didn't get.
Well, get off your high horse.
Dude, I'm trying
Get
to
on
get
your high horse,
on
yeah.
a horse.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
Wait, what are you, wait, does that mean that
Yes,
you
it's
smoking
yeah.
a horse?
Oh, no, I'm smoking weed while riding a horse.
Ooh, okay. Because I'd be down for both.
Nothing like a little glue to get me
Oh, man. Dude, speaking of horses, I really wish we almost did the Pie on My episode in season 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. That's a good episode.
We can always
We'll
go
come back
though.
for
Yeah, we'll come back for the Pie on My because that is a great episode. Well, anyways, yeah, this episode is long-term parking.
Whew.
And man, it's a doozy. But you know what? I don't know. It had to happen.
Had to happen.
Had to happen.
Snitches get stitches.
Especially in this world.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Where do we start? Because I feel like I'm going to jump around.
Let's just start off from the beginning.
Well, I guess. Yeah.
Adriana's been snitching for some time.
Yep.
And this is like, you're seeing it physically take a toll on her.
Yeah.
Is that her name?
Adriana. Yeah.
Adriana, whatever.
Adriana.
I know somebody named Adriana, and it's spelled the same way.
Well, we're going to kill her
Step off.
too. No, yeah, Adriana's been stitching for quite a while. She decides to, finally the FBI brings her in because she tries to cover up the murder of the drug dealer or the drug deal murder in her nightclub. And shit goes wrong, man.
Shit goes horribly wrong.
Yeah, she tries to convince Chris into flipping.
Yeah.
So that they could get away.
Yep.
And for a minute, it seems like it's going to happen. But
Yeah.
you know, the moment he leaves the house, that it's not. That the moment he's like, I need to get some cigarettes.
No, I disagree.
I disagree.
I know what
It's-
Jake's going to say.
Yeah,
I
I know.
think.
Yeah, it's the scene when he's pumping gas and he looks over
Yeah.
at that family.
Yep.
And that scene's deep for a variety of reasons. One, okay, so he looks over, he sees that family, and you know, by all accounts, like if you go back and watch it, they're kind of like poor white trash, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So he sees like what his possible future could be. If he leaves the life of the mafia, they're never going to make money anymore. They're going to be witness protection, probably out in the sticks, like middle America.
Right.
Just regular John and Jane Doe.
But a shitty car,
shitty everything.
You see the guy's face.
You see the guy's face. He has a mullet.
Hates his life. Yeah.
He hates his life. He's miserable. He's clearly just by looks, he's poor. There's also in that scene when he's looking at that family is a kid, and from prior seasons that Adriana said she possibly can't bear children.
Right.
Which is very important to Christopher. So he weighs the options. He realizes, great, not only will I be poor and just a fucking nobody, and mind you, since season 1, his aspirations to be in the Hollywood and to be mafia, Christopher wants to be somebody.
Right.
So, and then plus with that coupled with the fact that Adriana might not be able to bear children, he was like, fuck it, I gotta do this. So that's where I think he made that decision.
Dude, you're the Sopranos Savant. That's what you are, Jake.
Dude, I love Sopranos. You don't understand. I've analyzed the fuck out of it. And you can analyze it. You can analyze almost every little thing of every little episode.
Because you're talking about a scene that's probably a minute long tops and no dialogue. And that's dialogue. What it was. It's crazy. And Michael Imperioli that just goes to show how great an actor he is. He conveyed that in just his look.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'll be honest, when I first watched the episode, when Tony calls Adriana, it's like, hey, Christopher got in a car accident. We're on our way to the hospital right now.
I was swerved.
Yeah. I was like, oh shit, Christopher, maybe he's dead. But now when you go back and watch it and you hear Tony says, all right, I'll see you up there. And it's kind of a somber saying, because Tony knows he has to kill her, but you could tell he doesn't want to kill Adriana. He
is still pretty cold about it, you don't see him show one hint.
Next episode you do. Yeah, he cries with Christopher.
Well, yeah, of course. I just mean in that moment, he seems the way James Gandolfini plays that part, you're not sure, when you watch it the second time, you're saying, it feels completely different. It's he's taking care of business then and there. But the first time you watch it, you're like, oh, he seems concerned. But this time when I was watching it with that in mind, he just seemed very it's business. Just doing it.
No, see, I disagree. You can see, I feel like you can see it on his face, and you can see it when he beats the shit out of Christopher for doing H.
Exactly.
No, that I would say.
He says, he beats the shit out of Christopher in the club, and he says, "You think this only affects you?"
Yeah. That was a great scene.
Because the thing is,
he liked it, not romantically, but he had a soft spot for her.
And not only that, but you could see he's got so much on his plate with his cousin and Johnny Sachs and everything right now that it's he just can't, he doesn't have the time to mourn.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. He's feeling pressured from New York to give up Steve Buscemi for killing Phil Leotardo's brother.
I thought it was his son.
No, it's his brother.
His brother, yeah.
Dude, that's one of the few comedic moments in this episode is when Phil goes to Christopher's mom's house as she's coming out the house, and she's like, oh, I see your son's car is out here. We're from Alcoholics Anonymous. And she's like, what's your name? And he's like, well, we're anonymous. And then he
Phil Leotardo's a bastard.
Yeah, he's a bastard because he threatens his mom. He's like, I'm going to ram that CD player up your box.
Does that happen in this episode?
Not this episode.
Yeah, I don't remember
before it.
I'm confused.
It was the one.
No, but in this episode, there is a crazy Phil Leotardo moment where he goes to Tony. He's like, has someone ever died in your arms?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, right. And Tony's like, no. And he's like, let's make sure. What does he say? He
says, let's see if I can't make that happen. And then Christopher goes, oh, I got to stand being threatened here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
which is so weird that you could low-key in the mafia be in the same room as somebody and threaten that person's life, and it's all you can do is oh, are you threatening to kill me?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy because the five families, I mean, they're clearly bigger than the Sopranos.
Yeah.
Right.
They've got more power, and
more
Johnny, more men, more influence. They're more untouchable. And Johnny, up until this season, was really close to Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah. But once he became boss, he became power hungry.
Yep. Went to his head.
Is this the season that at the finale, he runs from the feds.
Yeah, and Johnny Sack gets sacked.
Which is also a great episode, honestly. Like,
it is.
That's a great scene. But yeah, this
so
is
good.
Yeah, it's also when Tony kills his cousin Tony Blundetto.
Yeah, Tony Blundetto.
Steve Buscemi. He's not really in this episode, unfortunately, too much. He's like in one scene.
Yeah. He tries calling Tony and then he hangs up before he says anything.
Yeah, but Tony calls him just to get him traced.
Yes.
So he could find where he's hiding out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but Uncle Pat's farm in upstate New York.
Yep. And Tony reveals to him like the thing he's kind of been holding in all season, right? Which is he had a panic attack the day his cousin Tony got caught.
Yeah.
And that's why he wasn't there.
Yeah. And it's funny because if you go back in the season, he lied about it and said he got jumped by a bunch of black guys, and that's why he never made it to the hijack.
Yeah.
Again, blaming it on the black people.
Yes. It always happens in Sopranos. They always do that.
Well, they're racist, so.
Yep. The Sopranos are racist.
It's true. It's true. I'd say it's probably the least cool thing about them.
They murdered Tracy and hid her body, but like, racism is the least cool thing about it.
I also say Silvio is the least cool in this episode than he ever was in my book.
I disagree. Silvio's just business, man. Like that scene. Also, once again, that scene when I first watched it, didn't see him coming until he starts turning into the woods, and you're like, oh no. And then
exactly. When he pulls off on that little side road, because that whole time, the first time I watched it, go in retrospect, like Jake said, there's all these little details, just little things that he's like, oh my God. But the first time I watched it, I was like, holy shit, Chris did try to kill himself.
Yeah.
Because that seems very on brand for our boy.
For sure.
And I was like, fuck. I was like, how is this going to play? She's going to get arrested by the feds because she didn't flip on time. That's what I thought was going to happen. Or they were going to blow her cover to the Sopranos and have her killed or something like that. But I did not expect it to be Chris having let them know. You know what I mean? But like, that scene is heartbreaking.
But also to go off of that, Cody, at like near the beginning of the episode, Chris is so pissed at Tony, and he's like, "I'm sick of this shit. All this stuff I did." He's like, "I'm going to hell for that, man."
Yeah.
Like there's that really powerful scene, and so you could see why Adriana's like, "Yeah, Chris is we're gonna leave. He's fed up with this life." And that's why even at that moment, you're like, yeah, Christopher really would never betray her. Like whatever's happening is good for both of them. But then, once he's turned into the woods, and then fucking right when he's about to kill her, Barracuda starts playing.
Barracuda's playing, yeah. Dun, 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 dun,
yep.
Yeah.
Sylvia's a fucking Barracuda.
Yeah.
Dude, it was brutal. It was
so
brutal.
Dude, fuck the FBI for like literally
ruining this woman.
Yeah, like I get it, but also like they threatened. They're like, oh yeah, like we can arrest you, and then you can explain to Tony Soprano why you brought an FBI agent into his house on Sunday dinner. And it's like, dude, you're gonna get her killed. Like,
yeah. Well, you're also talking about the same organization that had that publicly like killed Fred Hampton. You know what I mean?
Sure. And wiretapped Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. So.
Yeah, let's not be like, oh, the FBI are really that different from the mob.
Ooh. Shots fired.
There's a scene not in this episode, but in season 5 when Adriana is meeting with that FBI agent where she's like, "You're doing the right thing. You're helping your government."
Yeah,
and
fuck the government.
That's the trade-off. Like betray your family and your values and your husband and everyone that's like Adriana has a club because of Tony, right? Like he sets that. Like,
because
isn't it like a front for something? Because of Christopher, yeah. Well, because at that point, Christopher's moving up the ranks, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a place to do business for sure.
Yeah.
And so, like, I can understand, like, the Sopranos, like rules of the show, like why she had to go, but it was still like fuck.
Yeah,
But I mean, like, what, like, it's either that or like you go to, like, if you're in Tony's shoes or Christopher's, like, you go to jail for the rest.
yeah, for sure. Or you flip on one of the 5 families.
In
or
which case,
something
your
like that.
life is worthless.
Over. Yeah, you're
And
getting
you have to look over
hunted.
your shoulder for the rest of your life in case they find you.
True.
Yeah, this might be the single hardest death for me throughout the show.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Cause like, yeah, Adriana's just very likable. She's like immensely attractive. You always feel for her because since season 1, she's literally been in one of the most toxic relationships in the entire show.
Yeah.
Like her and Christopher, like Christopher is not, he's a cool character, but he's not a stable guy. He's violent.
A piece of shit.
He's not a good,
He domestically abuses her all the time. He uses cocaine and heroin like it ain't no thing. He has an alcohol problem. Like he's a mess.
He just says really disrespectful shit in front of her or about her.
Like, even with all that being said, like, and I'm sure you guys will disagree, but like he does love her. I'm saying like he loves her in his own way.
In his own sick, twisted Christopher Maltasanti. Yeah.
It doesn't matter
absolutely.
that it's sick and twisted. It's still love. Like,
it's still, it is.
It is.
It's the closest thing he can muster to love.
I mean, it's the closest thing any of them can muster to love, you know?
Yeah. Something also funny about this episode, going off of that point where Tony and Carmella, like, there's a whole conversation where they're going to get back together because they're not together in season 5.
Mm-hmm.
And he never really says that he's going to stop cheating. He's just like, don't worry, it's not going to come up again. And she's like, okay. Like when you going back to what you were saying in almost every episode, how she's an enabler. I really saw it in that moment because she really just wants the money for the house. That's
she wants the money.
Like.
Well, she even said, she's like, so, you know, I want a house. And then he goes, I'll free up a down payment. And then she says, and then what? And then I'll move back in.
Yeah.
And like, that's all it takes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Carmella just, you know, she's not giving up that life.
No
She's
way.
not going to be some poor middle-class housewife in New Jersey. Fuck that.
And she, on top of that, like, I mean, she knows, like, at the dinner scene when AJ is like, this is fucking weird. And she's like, yeah, this is fucking weird.
Yeah. You think in the past they'd be like, oh, watch your fucking mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
they're
well, they ended up having champagne together.
Yeah, like it was a cool moment. There's always the dinner scenes are so important, and that dinner, I mean, is important for everyone, but in Italian culture also, it's just always like dinner. Like it's the family bonding experience of all experiences. Like eat good food and like drink and be happy. Sopranos gets that so well.
I also really like when Adriana's talking to the FBI in this episode, and she's telling him about that drug dealer Matush, the Middle Eastern dude. And they're like, "Oh, like does he have terrorist ties or whatever?" Or something along those lines. I forget exactly what they ask her. She's like, "No, like he has a dog," and she like that's her justification as to why he's not a terrorist.
Well, it ends up like, I mean, she ends up basically spelling out, "Hey, he's a terrorist." She's She's like, "Yo, he refound his religion. He's sending money to
to the country that he's
to his family. His family's a part of a all boys prep school."
Oh shit, dude! I didn't think about that. You're right,
Cody.
Yeah.
Whoa. Good link, man.
Yeah.
And you know what? That comes not necessarily that, but the Middle Eastern terrorist thing comes back in season 6.
Right.
With those 2 dudes in the strip club who do business with Christopher.
Yeah.
Remember, you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Harris kind of becomes Tony's friend because he's like, you're going to help me.
Yeah.
Yeah. He basically helps. Tony basically becomes an informant for the against terrorists to gain an ally in the FBI.
Yeah.
So it's okay to be a rat as long as you're not a rat towards your people. Because then you're not a rat. You're not ratting out your people. You're helping.
I mean, you're ratting out terrorists, which is fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's okay. Yeah. You could be a rat for terrorists. We endorse that.
But I didn't even think about that because you're right. There would be no all boys prep school in fucking Pakistan.
Yeah, definitely
not. Yeah, he probably was funding terrorism. Which do you remember that Matush is from the season with Jackie Aprile when he first starts dealing, and Jackie Aprile's like, "Don't worry, I'll talk to them," and Christopher tells Jackie no. and Furio beats the shit out of Matush.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why would you even come around if Furio was around after he did that to you?
I mean, it's either
Furio was gone at this point.
Oh yeah, Furio's gone.
Right. Furio's gone. He leaves.
He
in season
fled.
4.
Next Sopranos Summer, we got to do the Furio Carmella episode. Something with them, like
that's a great. Furio and Carmella's relationship is one of my favorites in television because without ever saying the words "I love you" or touching each other, those two actors show that they're both in love with one another.
Yeah,
and it's fucking. Yeah. It's just great acting, and it's really great writing. And you're just like, damn, that was love right there, dude. When Furio almost kills Tony in the helicopter thing.
Yeah,
that's sick.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Do you think Furio would have been a better head of the family?
No, I don't.
No.
Think so.
Furio's not that guy. I think he would have done it just for to get Carmella. Like that would be his motivation.
Yeah. I don't think he would have done it to take over any authority in the family.
No, I think honestly, if he would have done it, it would have been Silvio who would have stepped up, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know when Silvio does step up, he sucks.
He can't do it. Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah,
he has like a heart attack, doesn't he, or something? He's like a
stress gets to him. Yeah.
In the next season, when Tony's in the coma, he like.
Dude,
he has to step up.
He's really fucked up by the pressure of the power.
Yep. Yeah.
I
could do it. I would step up and fill Tony's shoes. Who would I pick as my Silvio between Anthony and Cody?
Come on.
Not Cody. Cody would give the worst advice. As my consigliere.
I hope it starts the episode out being like, Cody's a liar. We're just now around the halfway mark, and this motherfucker's like, who's my number 2? Not Cody. Why do I feel like all of a sudden, if there were like a comics and chronic power struggle, that the two of you have been working behind my back the whole time?
Cody, when you and I get together, we both enable one another to do the worst things. If you were my consigliere, we would run that family into the ground.
Yeah, well, when you're right, you're right. You would be like, should we kill this dude? And I would be like, no, we should fucking party.
Like, yeah, you're right.
But if Comics and Chronic was a family, you're not the Tony of the Comics and Chronic.
Are you Tony because your name is Anthony?
Absolutely. Just for that reason alone, I say.
Crazy.
No.
We're putting you in a coma.
Yeah, you got to take me out.
You're season 6 comatose Tony Soprano.
Oh, no, I was going to say I'm season 1. Who's the head of the family? Oh, I'm Uncle
Jackie
Junior.
Aprile.
I'm Uncle Junior. No, I'm Uncle Junior. I'm always there and I think I'm in power, but like I'm not. And I'm just going senile.
Dude, that'd be a hilarious costume for you if you wore
Uncle Junior.
The Kangol hat with the big glasses.
Yes, I'll be Uncle June. Yes,
Uncle June for Halloween.
A sick idea. Dude, you'll have to sing that song he sings at the end of season 3 or whatever.
Dude, he could really sing. That was a beautiful scene.
So cool story. I've seen that actor Dominic Chianese plays Uncle Junior. Dude, I've seen him twice in New York City with his band. The people in that scene at the funeral that he's playing with, that's his actual band.
Nice.
And dude, I met him and I went up to him. I was like, hey, like I love Sopranos. I went with my sister and my dad.
Nice. How old were you?
I would have been like 20s, maybe 25, 24.
Kevin.
He's back.
It's Christopher Moltisanti. He's back.
Wait a minute. No, wait. I have a cool theory that I was watching something about. Another random YouTube thing I found. Okay. It didn't go into too much detail, but I was like, oh shit.
Okay, let's see.
So in this episode, right? Adriana in the club is wearing like leopard cat print kind of clothes, right? The last thing we see of Adriana, what's happening? What's happening in the scene? Like, right, like, because she gets killed off screen, but like, what would it look like? She's crawling on all fours, like a cat.
Oh,
so what if she reincarnated into
and to even tag onto your theory in when the cat's back in the Satriels, it keeps looking at pictures of Christopher.
Yes, exactly. Oh, look what Kevin's doing. Look what Kevin's doing.
Oh, shit, look at him. This is crazy.
I mean, we knew Kevin was already Morpheus, but goddamn, is he Adriana
Morpheus
too?
and Adriana, listen.
Adriana is Morpheus.
Oh, shit.
Yo, Kevin was like, Cody.
That was legit praying to Cody.
I've never seen a cat do exactly what Kevin was just doing.
I wonder, is it because Cody's wearing cat ears? Does he think of you as some cat god?
He was praying to you.
That's how he's just a slut. And he knows people eat that shit up.
Yeah,
and he loves doing it for people.
That's all.
Because people, every single time people do it, they're like, oh my God, you're the cutest cat ever. And like try to smooch him and rub on him and shit. And so now he just knows. He'll also do it to ask for treats sometimes.
Oh my God. Wait a minute. What if not just for Sopranos, but for real life? Think about this. Italians, like, they're superstitious of cats. They're afraid of them for like some weird ancient reason. But if cats are like reincarnations of people, well, of course, people in the mafia are going to be like, fuck cats. You know, that might be a guy I just whacked.
Oh, that's right. And we've already seen with Paulie and the ghosts in the seance scene.
Yes.
He doesn't like things, the afterlife coming back.
No.
Something's going on in Sopranos.
It's because the mafia, their muscle can do, they can handle anything in this material plane.
That's true.
They're not ready for the supernatural.
Oh shit! We got to get this supernatural family.
They're kind of like Superman. Like they could do everything, but they can't handle magic. Like it's just that's their
weakness. Furthering our theory that Tony Soprano is Superman.
Superman,
universe.
Dude, I really like the Adriana cat theory now. To be honest,
right? It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I like that.
It's so heartbreaking, man. Dude, Adriana.
Would you guys have let her live?
Yes. I love the scene, and it's another what if.
She just
you remember?
dimed you out to the FBI for the past year and a half.
She didn't dime anybody out, remember? She's just like, I just gave them license plates, that's all. Like, she really didn't reveal anything. What did she really say to them?
She talks about Christopher and the cigarette trafficking, interstate fraud. She gives information.
Yeah. I'm giving her too much credit.
She does give stuff, but she's basically doing the bare minimum to keep herself out of prison and to keep everyone else out of prison.
Well, then you're right. But then they even give the ultimatum. That FBI agent says, you've been giving us shit, and I'm sick of it.
Yeah. Oh, man, that guy was a piece of shit. I hated that. I felt so bad for her in that scene especially.
Dude, it's taking such a toll on her girl that she can't even dump. Or she can't stop dumping.
She can't she has diarrhea.
Yep, it sucks. Yeah, you just like Adriana is definitely a character you sympathize for, and you're just like it's kind of like how we talked about Artie. Like they're really not a part of this life, but they get swept up into it, and they can't. It's not something a regular person could deal with,
Yeah.
No.
Hold on, I want to go hit the bowl real quick. I'll be right back.
Nice. Jake and I'll keep going. Dude, I love the joke writing for this because the humor that they have when they're making jokes, it's so corny and cheesy, but like purposefully so. Like I can't remember the two jokes he said this episode, but like when Adriana brings Chris the beer, he cracks two jokes about her. And the first one, she's like, that's not funny, and still cracks up about it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I do.
But what I'm saying is like it's super like boomery. The jokes are super boomery.
Yeah.
But in a good way, because that's like how authentically Italian dudes in the early 2000s would be cracking jokes.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. I mean, they're not like woke young liberal comedian.
No, I'm just saying like it's a very like really I like how purposefully corny they make these guys. You know what I mean? Like they think they're such like jokesters, and
yeah. I mean, I would crack up hanging out with them.
Oh, for sure. I'm not saying I wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just saying.
No, their humor is very dated.
Well, it's not even that it's dated. It's just that it's corny, like in the sense like almost dad joke esque. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
Wait,
mean
what are you
that
guys
as in
talking about?
the joke writing in this, like when not the joke writing when they're because the cool thing about Sopranos is there's so much humor in just like the moments, but like I'm talking specifically the writing. Anthony, you might be able to better remember, but Chris makes 2 jokes in this episode when Aide brings him a beer in the office, and that's right before Tony's like, "Hey man, don't listen to Chris. He loves you."
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's like something about her being smelly. And she's like, Christopher.
Yeah.
She says, "My smelly Valentine."
My smelly Valentine. There you go.
Yeah. See what I mean? That's a boomer joke. That's a boomer joke for sure. But it's like also exactly the kind of joke one of those dudes would make. You know?
Yeah. Jake, do you remember the scene? It's not in this episode, but like Paulie is talking. It's right after Tony Blendetto whacks, what's his name? Phil Leotardo's
brother.
And Paulie makes a joke, and then some other guy on the crew whose name I don't even know makes a joke, and then Paulie's like, he's like, "Oh, why do you always try and top me?" You know,
it's little Paulie. It's his nephew.
Oh, that's Paulie's nephew. Oh shit!
Yeah,
I don't think I realized that.
Little Paulie Germani. He goes. You took the wind right out of my punchline, you fucking asshole.
Because whenever I get what you're saying, Cody. Like especially Paulie, when he tells a joke, it's very deliberate, and he wants you to know that he told the joke.
Oh yeah, like I mean, it's almost like you can hear these it's like these old Italian dudes firing off their best dad jokes at each other when they're hanging out. It's
for sure.
And it's great. I love it. I like that it's like deliberately corny. You know what I mean?
This episode is also funny because little Carmine, also in New York.
Bitch.
Yeah, exactly. He gives up. He gives up the fight and pretty much relinquishes power to Johnny Sack.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where once the dude from New York calls Tony and tells him, that thing is settled. He goes, "All right, cool." And then he's in the Bada Bing and his crew is there. And he goes, "Little Carmine's out." They're like, "He's dead?" And they're like, "No, just settled." And Paulie's like, "The kid's a fucking pussy."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he says, "I knew he'd cave. That kid's a fucking pussy."
Yeah, dude. Carmine was a bitch. He just didn't have it. Dude was raised in privilege. His dad was head of the family. All he did was live in Miami and party it up. Fuck bitches.
Yeah.
He wasn't ready to run one of the New York families.
No,
but I like how him and Christopher link up when they're doing. Why can't I never remember? What's the name of Christopher's movie?
Cleaver.
Cleaver. Doesn't Little Carmine finance Cleaver?
Yeah, he finances it through his company, which makes porn. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that shit's funny.
Dude, yeah, it's so crazy. Dude, the show, at this point, it's a much different animal than it is in the very first season. I'm not saying it like changes tonally, because it stays that kind of stays the same. But I'm saying like the cinematography in this, one of the first things I noticed, that scene where Phil's having the flashbacks of his brother dying.
Yeah.
And like that, just like the angles and the crispness of the video, it's a very different.
Oh, for sure.
More, it just seems like and like everything is so much grander now. The stakes are much higher, it feels like, than they were earlier.
Definitely.
If you can tell at this point in the show that they're at the end of the road.
Yeah. And then at this point, it's 2005. It's a huge leap, I feel like, in TV, the way it was presented. It was like starting to become HD around 2005. And like the show starts in 1999. So that definitely, you feel it in this season, especially.
Yeah. You can really see it like goes from being like a cool show, like it's also like very gorgeous in its, you know what I mean? Like the dream sequences in the later seasons, they're still the same, but they're so much more bizarre and like detailed than they were very early on in the show.
Yeah. No, it would be cool. Neil Gaiman should have written an issue where Morpheus meets Tony Soprano in a dream.
Or when Tony's in the coma.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'd be a good one to do. Is Morpheus in his coma dreams?
Yeah.
Yes.
What if Tony Soprano met Morpheus?
Ooh, a scoozy. Right before
Scoozy.
I already want to rewatch the show. I watched it for the first time in 2020 and I miss it.
I only watched it for the first time this year, you know?
That's crazy. I was thinking today, is The Sopranos like one of the greatest TV shows ever made?
Hell yeah.
Most definitely, right?
Yeah, and
is there anything that even like scratches the surface?
The more I think about it, no. I mean, I think there's a reason why we were like, you know, we're Comics and Chronic, but we're spending a month and more doing a thing about Sopranos because we just fucking love it. It's just a great show. Like every time, like what I've like gauged as a great show has changed dramatically as I've gotten older, right? Like I used to think like Lost was the best show of all time, and Lost is a great show, but it definitely isn't. It's a very flawed show. At one point, you know, I was a Doctor Who guy, a Whovian, you know, like I would really thought Doctor Who was like the best show I've ever seen. But then like looking back on it, it's like, hell no, not even close. Like these shows don't hold a candle to Sopranos.
No. Jake, I know what you're going to say to this. I was asking, is The Sopranos the greatest show ever?
So I'll say a few things to that. Yes. Dude, I mean, yes, and like I feel like we've touched upon like the writing and like how deep you can read into shit. It's actually regarded by the Writers Guild of America as the #1 best written television show of all time. I got into like a huge Clubhouse debate with like 60 people last year during the pandemic about it being the greatest show of all time. And the general consensus that I find, and that I actually agree with, is that the two best shows of all time are pretty much The Sopranos or The Wire.
Yeah.
They kind of are like the two that clash, and both are HBO products.
Yeah.
And so
I feel like a lot of people would also say Breaking Bad.
But okay, this is why I argue no to that. And I argue like, I think that's actually stupid. I hate when people say that. For one thing, Breaking Bad never exists without Sopranos. That's just
no, of course not. Of course not.
2, Breaking Bad, yeah, it's cool. It's great acting. It takes the reality of Breaking Bad takes place in a much more hyper, what scientific scheme is Walt going to come up with now to, you know what I mean? Like, it's not really that realistic.
It's a little bit sillier. Like, yeah, right. Tony Soprano isn't escaping.
Magnet to take the evidence from. It's like, dude,
or he's not going to throw a rock and make an explosion to escape.
Exactly.
Like,
it's cool, and I get it. Like, that's not really that realistic.
So, do you think
it's still a great show? But is it better than Sopranos? Absolutely not.
Can I say something insane?
Yes.
I only watched one season of Breaking Bad and I gave up on it.
See, there you go.
Wow.
There you go. Shots fired, my dude.
Dude, I mean, honestly, the only shows that I would even compare, definitely The Wire is one of them. I think that a very fumbled potential if the last 3+ seasons hadn't dipped in such drastic quality. I think Game of Thrones maybe not could have been as good, but could have been would have been culturally as significant. You know?
No, I get what you're saying. Game of Thrones. Yeah, Game of Thrones.
You think Game of Thrones is a better show than Sopranos?
Did you didn't listen to anything I said, you cocksucker.
Sorry, I'm getting a lot of stress messages.
Stressages.
What did you say? Sorry.
I said
is Game of Thrones a better show than Sopranos? I
said no. I said a fumbled potential to be as good, or at the very least as culturally significant. It had the last 3+ seasons not dipped in quality so much.
I think also you got to remember the time at which each show was airing. Sopranos was like Game of Thrones, global quality. SNL, Mad TV, everyone was doing Sopranos parodies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everything was Sopranos influenced when it was it was airing and in its prime.
Did you guys ever see the Mad TV sketch where it's PAX TV presents
PAX
The
TV.
Sopranos?
Yeah, dude, that's good, hilarious. That's a great episode.
It's like cut down for
It's
editing.
20 minutes
it's 3
long.
minutes. Yeah. Because it's like,
He's like, but. He's like, puss, and then that's it.
Yeah. And the guy that plays in that sketch that plays Big
Joey
Pussy
Diaz.
is actually Joey Diaz. Yeah.
It's Joey Diaz.
Who could have easily been a character on Sopranos. He fits the mold.
Well, he was in the movie. He was in Many Saints.
Oh, well, the best movie.
Oh, yeah, he was, yeah.
But yeah, no, I think The Sopranos, like, and I think it's an unbiased thing. I think if you're going to speak about it from an artistry standpoint, like, yeah, I think it is the best television show of all time.
No, I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing as much as I was just speaking the
we're just
question
talking
out.
about it. You know, like, what does it even mean to say it's the best of all time? Like, it's great. It's so good that it's hard to find anything better. You know, like, on the whole, like, it's 6, I guess, I say 6 seasons of just greatness. Like, we've said it in another episode, the worst episode of Sopranos is still better than most episodes of any other show.
Oh, absolutely.
And I used to say that about Game of Thrones too, to Cody's point earlier. Like, yeah, and I felt the same way. But Sopranos it sticks the landing, I would say, and we'll talk about it, of course. Best TV show ending of all time. That is no doubt for me.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't always feel that way. And we'll have to cover that on the next episode.
Yeah, I don't want to take time for this.
Two more.
For years,
Oh, yeah,
I
a
did
couple
not
more,
feel
yeah.
that way. Yeah, a couple more. But for years, I did not feel that way.
Yeah.
I would almost argue that The Wire maybe has just as equal as a ending.
I've never seen The Wire. That's the next show I will watch.
You got to do yourself a favor, player.
Dude, it's fucking sick.
Yeah.
Okay, what crime-based... other than The Wire, because I think that, like, for me and Jake, it'll be an easy The Wire. What crime show is your second favorite to Sopranos?
Anthony.
Crime.
Like Breaking Bad, whatever.
I loved Breaking Bad, but is it second? It definitely falls below Sopranos and how much I like it. I don't know if I watched enough shows. Like, what are some other crime shows? Like, I know there's what's that one on Netflix everyone loves with Cillian Murphy? What's the name?
I didn't watch it,
but everyone loves that shit. He's like an Irish mobster, right? Like, what is that show?
Oh, Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders. Yeah, I've never watched it, but I hear that's a great show.
I've watched a few episodes. It's not bad at all. I just can't really get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's just too much content out there these days.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys, what about you, Jake? Do you know your second, other than The Wire, or your second favorite crime?
My ranking, as far as like, dude, I'll be honest, HBO kind of holds the candle for me. I would say Sopranos, The Wire, and Oz. Oz literally came out. Oz was actually HBO's like first major kind of show, 1995 or 6.
Yeah.
But would you say like Sopranos was the show that put HBO on the map?
Yes, definitely.
100%.
Sopranos was the show that put HBO on the map, but Oz came first.
Oz was good, but I think it was a little too brutal and dark for your average
but also
person, especially in that era.
But also, like, a shit ton of HBO actors, both Sopranos and The Wire, come from Oz. Edie Falco
for sure.
was a correctional guard in it, and the reason her character gets written off the show is because she got cast as Carmella Soprano.
Speaking of getting written off, by the way, I think Drea de Matteo, who played
she got
Adriana,
written off because she had something to do. No, I don't know. I think she got casted in something else, and she.
See, I always thought. By the way, in some weird like 6 degrees of separation stuff, my mom's like best friend's husband is cousins with Adriana.
Drea de Matteo helmet over here. My mom's best friend.
Yeah, former college roommate. And I say that to everybody I meet. I'm like, hey, did you guys know that my mom's best friend's cousin is Drea de Matteo who played Adriana?
Thing you say.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. So I got to ask you, Anthony, how would you, if you were to read her last name on paper, how would you pronounce it?
De Matteo.
De Matteo, okay. Yeah.
That's how you say it. I mean, just because I know that, that was my mother's, did you guys know, I don't know if I mentioned this, but my mother's best friend's husband, his last name is De Matteo.
So we had family friends and they never, and maybe there wasn't a space in it, but it should have probably been De Matteo, but they were Italian, Di Matteo.
Yeah, here's the thing with Italians, especially. I mean, it's just like Italy is a country, but it's really just like there's so many dialects of Italian that it just everyone says things differently. There's no like one way.
It's like there's gravy and sauce.
Exactly.
I never heard
mean, it's gravy.
It's not gravy, dude.
I've heard
no, but
gravy.
it is. No,
it's not gravy. It's not.
No, but it is. But I mean,
but it is.
I mean, but it is.
That's for trashy Italians.
Are you calling my mother, my father, my grandmother, my grandfather, and their mothers and fathers
I'm
liars?
Them a bunch of guinea trash.
Are you calling my Sure, Kevin doesn't show up for this one.
Yeah, dude, he doesn't like wops.
Wow.
Dago greaseballs.
This is, you know what this is? This is anti-Italian discrimination. That's what this is for real.
I love when Tony always does that. When the FBI like very justifiably raids his house. He's like, you know what this is? This is anti-Italian discrimination.
Because they even talk about it in that Columbus Day episode. It is rooted in like back in the day, yes, people hated Italians, but it's not like that in modern day, not when Sopranos in any time. And you know what I mean? Like people, you're just like, you're white, you're Italian. That it doesn't mean anything, but like they hold on to it. Like so much of the Sopranos, the mobster mentality, the Italian mentality is like family, the past, like keeping culture and tradition alive, passing it on to your kids, making sure your kids are like brainwashed basically to just be like, do this. Like, that's why I love Meadow, because AJ's an idiot, but Meadow is like beyond this shit. She's not Carmella. She's not Tony, but she's like the best.
She's woke.
You know?
Meadow is woke.
Yeah, she is. She really is. I relate to Meadow a lot.
Is Meadow the first woke character on television?
She must be, right?
Definitely one of their
and not in a way that's like I don't
not in an annoying way.
In any way, like I feel like, you know, I don't even use the word woke, but like, you know, the way like Meadow is just like real. Like, and again, like goes back to what's her name? Her name is Jamie Lynn Sigler, right? That's the actress's name.
Yeah.
She is Meadow. Like, I don't know. In anything else I've seen her, she's still Meadow.
Yeah, even when she plays
other things,
she's in Entourage as herself.
Yes, and that is Meadow. Like she's just Meadow.
Nice.
Also, Meadow has the worst choice in boyfriends. They're all a bunch of
this season Flynn.
Dude, Flynn.
Flynn, is it Finn? Oh, Finn.
It's
Sorry, Finn.
I mean, it might as well be Flynn.
Yeah, let's call him Flynn. Fuck him.
Let's call him Flip Flabby Flu.
Okay, so before we go into the Joe Peasies of the season, I just want to touch back because I never got to talk about my favorite crime show.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. We got distracted on something, but I wanted to touch on it.
And being a dirty greaseball.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, my entire legacy being built on lies. It's gravy. Anyway, Cody, go ahead.
In retrospect, so I watched this show before I watched The Sopranos, and it's not nearly as good, but my show is 100 that I loved to death when I was like younger was Sons of Anarchy.
No, I
never watched it.
I never watched it either, and I'll tell you why. I can't really like. First off, it came out after Sopranos, so fuck that.
Oh, for sure. I'm not saying I like it more than Sopranos in the slightest. I'd say my second favorite crime show.
How I feel about Sons of Anarchy, actually, this is awesome. How I feel about Sons of Anarchy is exactly how Tony and Christopher feels in the scene in season 6 when they rob the motorcycle gang and make fun of them as they leave. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
When they're robbing the equivalent of the Hells Angels, and those guys are like, "Oh, we're with the Vipers." And Christopher's like, "Oh, we're with the Vipers." That's how I kind of feel. Like, oh, Sons of Anarchy, like the motorcycle gang, and all they're all still kind of poor, but they're like chose a life of crime. I guess I don't get, and this is what I feel about like the Irish mafia as far as they're portrayed in movies. They tend to be poorer than the Italian mob. It's like, why are you guys doing organized crime if you're not going to make fucking money? Like, I like cartels because like those guys live in like lavish estates, but like, Tony Soprano has a very nice house. I don't understand the point of like dedicating your life to organized crime only to still be poor.
I like cartels, Jake FH.
I'm just like,
That is a screenshot. Make a screenshot of that.
I love
Freeze and zoom in.
cartels. I'm going to be on an NSA watch list now. After that.
I mean, you already said fuck the FBI, so.
Yeah.
No, but like, do you know what I mean? I guess like for me, it's like biker gangs is like, yeah, we're dirty and we ride bikes and we hang out in dirty dive bars.
Yeah.
But we do all this crime, but we don't really see the benefits financially from it. I just like for me, it just doesn't make sense. Like if I'm going to choose any kind of organized criminal, I do want to be the guy that's able to wear like nice custom made 3-piece suits, not a fucking leather jacket and denim jeans, you know?
I agree, but I feel like The Sopranos might have been slightly improved with Katy Segal, who played Peg Bundy on Married with Children,
I
and
love
she's on
Katy
Sons of
Segal.
Anarchy.
I think
Yeah,
she's so
so like,
hot.
so we could take her from Sons of Anarchy, put her into this. Imagine like
Would
she could
Katy
be like
Segal
a
be better
Kumar.
Carmella Soprano?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. No,
Whoa.
Edie Falco's great. She's amazing.
Falco
She's
is
part of
great.
what makes Sopranos so great. But
Yeah.
Katy Segal, I could see her being a character in that world.
I can
Katy
see it.
Segal also wouldn't settle for being a rich housewife.
Yeah, like she likes.
Katy
Yeah.
Segal would want. Katy Segal would be somebody who becomes a earner in the family. You know.
Yeah, you're right. You're
I
right.
like
Yeah.
Oh, good.
We'll add her to the Meadow spinoff that we're developing with HBO.
I love that Meadow takes over the family.
It's gonna be the that's gonna be her
Her rival.
she
Ooh.
would be a great I mean she's a villain in Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, she is. Okay.
Oh yeah, she is. I know that much. So in this Meadow spinoff,
Uh-huh.
we're also going with the rest of the surviving members of the Soprano crew, right? So
Well-
Paulie's still alive.
Unfortunately not. Like, I mean, if you made the show, Tony Sirico's gone.
I mean, like if we're going canonically with who's left after.
Right.
Oh, maybe Meadow kills Paulie. That's how we write off Tony.
Yeah, Meadow does it to seize power because Paulie's Paulie's like, I'm the next in line, and Meadow's like, Paulie, I'm the daughter of Tony Soprano.
You're ruining my family's legacy, Paulie Walnut. It'll be like a red wedding scene. Like she puts a big like party on for Paulie, but boom.
It's Paulie, and it's actually she is gonna marry Patsy Parisi's son, and we do know that Patsy Parisi lives.
Yeah.
Ooh, see, there you go. There's something there.
Yeah, we could do this fan fiction Meadow spin-off.
Yeah. You also got Furio out in the world. We're saying Tony's gone. Carmella's out there.
Oh, what if word gets back to Furio, wherever he is, that Tony's dead? And Carmella's like, oh, she's grieving. She's so sad. And Furio comes back and
boom,
takes Carmella.
Yeah. And Furio becomes Meadow's Sill.
Ooh.
And you know what? That's actually very plausible because back when he was in Italy, he was Annalisa's like second in command. You know what I mean? Like, so he's down with having a female boss.
And then AJ could become kind of like the Christopher of this series because AJ's already a fuck up, but like he continues on a worse spiral.
I mean, I hope AJ, I hope in the diner scene when Tony does get whacked, I hope that like a bullet ricocheted and also killed AJ.
AJ accidentally catches one.
Yeah.
And that's what leads Meadow to be like, you know what? I need to step. I can't let nothing happen.
She like Michael Corleone style gets revenge for Tony and AJ's death.
Yeah.
But don't forget Noah's still out in the world too.
Bitch ass Noah.
Yeah, but he's there.
I like this Meadow spinoff, honestly. What would we call it? Would it be like the Meadowlands or something?
Meadowlands!
Yeah, Meadowlands. Yeah.
That's so perfect.
That's sick, dude.
Dude, and they already did the fucking Super Bowl commercial with Meadow and
so
AJ.
We know she's alive.
Yep. And we already have the intro for the show, so
yeah. Meadowlands. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Dude, I think we gotta pitch David Chase and HBO on our
David Chase,
spin-off.
if you're listening, I know you are. We know you are.
We know you're listening.
Just tell them Cody Feige needs to talk.
Have your people call his people. Oh shit. That's hilarious. Meadowlands, I want it now.
But only if we make it. Like if anyone else makes it, it's going to be really
It's
stupid.
gonna be whack.
HBO.
It's gonna be
yeah,
whack.
you can't take these ideas into someone else's hands. They're going to fuck it
Yeah,
up.
but that would be like taking George R. R. Martin's ideas and giving them to those
David Benioff and DB Weiss.
Yeah, D&D.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. We don't want to run the show into the ground.
Yeah.
Anthony, you need to start writing this spec script for Meadowlands.
Yeah, we're writing Meadowlands. It's happening. I'm getting on. I'm typing
it's in
it.
the works. We're going to confirm it with HBO.
Yeah.
David Chase, I'll have my people call your people. You know, we'll meet on Arthur Avenue. We'll have a
Meet
little.
Arthur Avenue.
He knows.
This is sick.
All right, boys. How many Joe Peasies?
Okay, I'm going to go first.
Yeah.
I think
for it.
the easiest thing to do for me right now, for me, season 5, I'm doing the whole season. Season 5, I give a 6, easy peasy. Because I do think season 5 is phenomenal. I would actually, season 6, I've learned to appreciate a lot more after. But initially, I wasn't too fond of season 6, but it's whatever. I like it. It's just not as strong as the other ones, but it's not bad. But I wouldn't have
season
minded
6 is the weakest link, in my opinion.
Exactly. But I wouldn't have.
yeah.
I wouldn't have minded if Sopranos ended on the finale of season 5 when Tony's running away from the FBI as they arrest Johnny Sack.
I think, that would have been an equally compelling ending because
Exactly.
you don't know why he's running away, you know?
Yeah. So I think for me, season 5 gets a 6. This episode, I mean, I don't know. I think this episode deserves a 6, to be honest. It's super compelling. And
It's heartbreaking,
it's
man.
hard.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make it bad. Like, just like
Oh
it's-
no,
No, of
I
course
wasn't
not.
talking about this. I'm if anything, that means that like it makes you feel.
And not only that, it
You
makes you
know?
feel for someone who's not like, she wasn't like a C-string character, but she's not that main of a character. Like you feel for Adriana throughout the series.
I would argue she's easily top 3 most important women to the show.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah. Most important women. I don't know. Characters, I feel like it goes Tony, Carmella, Christopher overall on the show. And
Yeah.
Melfi
Yeah, for
originally,
sure.
but as we know, they nerfed Melfi.
Yeah, they never.
They do,
Power
man.
levels decreased significantly.
You can tell in this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's barely in this season.
And Tony's dealing with shit on his own and he doesn't know how.
I'm gonna give long term, especially because I remember exactly like how I felt when I first watched it. It was just like I'm gonna give long term perking a 6.
Dude, yeah, 6 for sure. I hated them in that moment. The first time I saw it, like I understand it needed to happen. I don't think there was an alternative. I think Aid was going to die. You know what I mean? She was destined to.
I agree. She was probably once she started flipping for the FBI, she was always destined to die. Because this
Destin,
world
but-
takes place in a very realistic.
But that doesn't mean she wasn't, it didn't hurt any less just because I knew it was happening.
She was a no good rat. She died like one,
No, that's not how I see Adriana. Like,
sniveling and crawling on the ground like a vermin.
Oh my God. Yeah, Jake, as much as like I would like to argue that I could potentially run against you for head of the family, in reality, you've got the brutality. I don't.
Ooh, Cody. I think, yeah. Oh, you know what would happen? You know how like Christopher meets his end? Cody, you and I got in that car accident that time. I think it would be the same thing.
Oh, fuck.
Like, hold your nose closed.
Oh my
God. Yeah. Like, don't worry. Hush, Cody. It'll all be over.
Yeah.
Then I'll call Anthony. I'll be like, Anthony, you're not going to believe what happened. We got in a crazy car accident, and Cody, he didn't make it. I'm sorry. Anyways, we're going to record later this week. So
Oh,
No,
hell yeah.
I can't believe I just fantasized about killing one of my best friends.
If I'm being honest, I was here for it. I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, yes. Yes.
Oh, God.
I mean, I was even making the sound effects and the gestures.
Oh, that's so funny.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go 6-6 also.
Ooh, double
Nice.
sixes. Anthony?
Yeah, the season definitely gets a 6. This is a great season.
Here we go. I already knew he's not going to give the episode a 6.
What?
Oh.
No, I was gonna say I just disagree with how you think about Adriana. Like, there's a part, right, like in the scene where she's in the car with Silvio. Like right before it cuts to her in the car with Silvio, it looks like they make you think, and you see this in another episode, like where she has her suitcase and she might drive to a different state altogether. Forget about the FBI. Forget about Christopher. She's just going away by herself. It's kind of like a dream she has. And in this episode, you see that for a split second. It really is the what if moment. Like Watu is standing in the background, like, what if Adriana made the turn off the highway? And that, like,
Oh, shit.
but her fate is sealed. And like, long-term parking is fucked up because Adriana's dead, and the long-term parking means Christopher takes her car and her suitcase. He takes her suitcase, throws it probably in the Meadowlands somewhere,
he does
right?
throw it
Like,
in the Meadowlands, yeah.
right, and then he brings her car to the airport, and you hear the speaker saying long-term parking, blah blah blah, and you're like, "Fuck!" It's such a dark meaning behind like a very like innocuous long-term parking. It doesn't sound dark, but in the context of the episode, fuck.
Well, because
It's a
you
dark
also
episode.
hear when he's at the airport, you also hear long-term parking. Remember,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah.
They say it. You're like,
They
yep,
say
okay, I get it now. But no, really, no. I'm giving this episode a 6. Of course, it is dark. That doesn't make it a bad episode. It just makes it a heavy episode. Like other Sopranos episodes are heavy in different ways, but in this one, it's like the scene with Christopher and Adriana where he's like choking her. You think he's gonna kill her in that moment? It's just like, fuck Christopher, and like he realizes what he does, and Adriana still forgives him. It's just like, oh my god, like. It's just a lot of emotions, and it's just
That's a very intense scene. Easily, probably, maybe even the most intense scene in the entire series.
It really looks like her eyes are bulging out of her fucking
she's
head.
all red and like her eyes are all
Yeah.
bloodshot. She looks like it looks crazy.
It's really realistic, and
then
Michael Imperioli,
he breaks down crying afterwards.
yeah,
Like,
you believe it. Oh man. Yeah, so 6 for the season, 6 for the episode. Yeah, and The Sopranos, that's the thing, though. It does get darker as the series goes on. Like, yeah, it's always kind of dark, but there is some lightness to it. It's still like kind of like he's trying to support his family and be a family man, but it's just like he gets led deep. He becomes a bigger presence in the mafia. Like, he's like now the boss and shit's going down. Like,
yeah.
And we just know it can only end one way.
He tells Johnny Sacks to fuck off.
Yeah. And they're
Dude,
being
that's a funny scene in this episode is when him and Johnny Sack meet where they always meet by the George Washington Bridge.
So romantic.
And, yeah. And he says, and that's where they've been meeting, for the entire series.
Yeah.
And Johnny Sack says, this will be the last time you and I meet like this. It's undignified. And Tony goes, okay.
Yeah.
And then after that, he goes, I'll give you undignified. Go fuck yourself. He's my cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, damn, you got a lot of balls, Tony.
But then next episode, there's, they make up, but then boom, the FBI gets Johnny Sack.
Gets him.
Dude, it's this episode really sets the Sopranos on the course for the finale. This episode felt like, in retrospect, this episode felt like it almost felt like at this episode, they were like, okay, we got to wrap this up soon or it'll go too long or something. You know what I mean? Like it's time to start. And like this episode really felt like the chess move that set the finale in motion.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. Well, nice, dude. Double 6s. That's double the mark of the beast.
Yeah, we're summoning Satan twice today, y'all.
Yep. That's the power this episode has.
Well, shit. All right. Well, thanks. Yeah. Tune in to next episode as we cover the first half of season 6, season 6A, episode 1, Members Only.
MO.
Yeah.
I like that we're bookending the final season.
I chose it because I think those are the 2 strongest episodes of the season.
Yeah. Because remember, we're going to throw in an episode in between for a Sunday smoke sesh.
Yeah, we'll sprinkle some more Sopranos nuggets on you guys.
Yeah, you'll find out more about that. But we're
Sopranos sprinkle. Shut up.
Sopranos sprinkle.
There's some Sopranos sprinkles on there.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks for
on your
tuning
Sopranos
in.
Sunday.
Ooh, Sopranos Sunday dinner.
No, but like no DAE,
Ooh,
like an ice cream sundae.
Okay.
Yeah, we're there's a lot of fancy wordplay here. That's why Meadowlands is going to be like not only the best show, like even better than The Sopranos, but it's going to be like William Shakespeare level, like poetry. Like,
Yeah.
We're gonna write a better show than The Sopranos.
Yeah. I can't wait.
Standing on the shoulders of giants, we will.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Sopranos crawled so we can run. Well, thanks for tuning in to yet another episode of Comics and Chronic, the Sopranos Summer Edition. We appreciate your guys' support. Check us out all over the place. Comics and Chronic on Instagram, Twitter, comicschronic.com. Check out our
TikTok.
Pornhub page. Where
you can see Jake fuck.
Yeah. Let us know if you would
He
support.
doesn't know it, but I've been spying on him.
Maybe I do know and I just haven't stopped you.
Did Cody just admit he's in the FBI?
Wow. See, you guys support snitches out here. I don't do that. I don't know.
I'm not. Hey,
Nah, I'm just snitching for myself. You know what I mean? I'm snitching for my own personal pleasure in this scenario.
it sounds so dirty.
That's the point.
Yeah, of course it does. All right, players. We'll see you next week.
Yeah,
Like it is.
cool.
Hi, you're listening to Comics and Chronic, and I'm Jake FH.
I'm Cody Cannon.
And I'm Anthony Iannaccio.
And you can tune in every Thursday to hear new episodes of Comics and Chronic.
And make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Comics and Chronic. That's comics, the letter N, Chronic.
We'll see you guys next week.
Woo!
Peace.